Hey everyone, Sly47 here. Update 5.3 has come out today. Let's go over the patch notes together. I'll let you know my thoughts. I'd love to know your thoughts down below on each and every item within this update. Do you like it? Do you not? Personally, me, just from TLDR, it's a good update. Hopefully release is going well. Sometimes they can be a little bumpy, but let's get into the miscellaneous stuff and then run through the rest of it. Now, first up that I wanted to talk about was a bunch of random items within the patch notes, so I kind of shoved them all together, and we can get to the bigger, juicier items just in a short bit. So let's first talk about the new Blitz Squad member. If that's for you, if you enjoy it, it's just not for me. So, German battleships early access is coming up. We've got another line to grind. Lots to do in this game right now, which I'm happy about. More content is more content, and that's going to be good. I have a feeling, though, from the past early access events, you might as well just wait until they actually get released. So, hopefully it's a good event. Hopefully, Wargaming, please listen to my videos. Please don't make it a bad early access event. We got some new camouflages. I'll post them up into the video in editing. Okay, pretty cool. Like, the camouflages I think are getting on point, if not getting a little creative. I think that's what they should do, embrace the more arcadiness of this game, but do offer a way to maybe not show those in game for certain people. World Chat is back, right? Oh gosh, I cannot wait to be able to talk to my fleet and talk to my platoon mates. It's gonna be so much easier. I have enjoyed having everyone on Discord and seeing everyone there, having people talk on there, but having a secondary app do something that your game should do in the first place, yeah, it's not a great solution. So looking forward to that. Not looking forward to having to censor World Chat so much, though, because, dear Lord, the toxicity is back, probably. So we'll see how it goes. New legendary equipment. You got the Yamato, minus 10% dispersion, minus 10% main battery traverse speed. Personally, to me, I don't think this is worth a $16 increase, but if you play the Yamato a bunch, this definitely will be a very powerful pick within that ship. Next up, we got the Worcester, 5% more range, minus 5% dispersion, and then on top of it, 5% more AA range on both the large caliber and small caliber. So with that more range, I guess now the joke isn't that the shells go to low Earth orbit, they go to high Earth orbit? I guess so. I don't know. It could be interesting. I might look into that because I do like having more AA range, but I'm not really sure that's big of an upgrade over the regular mod, and I don't really think range and dispersion was the issue of the ship. I would have much rather had a mod where it decreased the angle the shells go at and increase the shell speed by like 20% or something like that, but you get slower reloads. Kind of like play a different style of ship, but it nerfed like the AA or something. I don't know. It could have been fun to have more of an augment for the Worcester. It's already a pretty solid ship, so this mod, we'll see how it plays. Next up, let's get to the juicy section, the Shipyard Rotation that's happening in Update 5.3. And these are the ships. We got the Verbus Unitas, the Udachi, the Yukon, the Black Gascon, the Akava, the Siegfried, the Black Iowa, the Stalingrad, and the Hayate. Now, what are my thoughts on this? I'm actually just going to leave it and put up a different image so that this helps you. So, pretty much, Verbus Unitas, it's a collector's ship. It's just not as good. There's way better ships at Tier 5. The Udachi, it's niche. This Tier 7 DDs, it's actually a pretty competitive tier, and it doesn't really add too much that changes the meta. I don't know if I'd pick that up. Yukon, we don't know. It could be good. It's an EUBB, basically a Monarch at Tier 7. It's pretty good already, so we got to see what stats they're going to run with and what they're going to change. So I'll let you know probably in a future video or even on stream that night, or tonight actually, yeah, because this video will be going up Wednesday morning. So Black Gascon, it's a good ship. It's a really good ship. You have to kind of like that style that the Gascon plays like, because of course it has one turret in the front, one turret in the back, but it's got really good skills to it, so I still think it's a very good ship, but just know that some people might not like it. Akava, it's playable, it just doesn't have the gimmick that the Smolensk has, and there's much better ships at Tier 8, and that's kind of the problem with it. It's just got so much competition that it really doesn't outshine anything else in that tier for what it should be trying to be in its niche. So Siegfried, it's overall a good ship, not particularly great, but it can be good. In my opinion, it's just barely in the good category. I do wish they gave it a little bit more love, but They have given it buffs in the past, which have helped it in ways. Black Iowa, this is a good ship. This is a very good ship. It's in, I think it beats the Georgia a little bit. Like, just ekes out the Georgia, but the Missouri for me beats it. And I'm betting in the comments everyone will let me know, which one they like, because it really is a toss-up between those three and exactly how you play. But Black Iowa is a good ship. Let's talk about the one we got to choose, or one of the ones that we got to choose, I should say. Stalingrad. This is a great ship at tier 10. It's a damage-dealing monster of a ship, insanely accurate sniper. Highly would suggest it, but the price might ruin it. So we'll have to see. So yeah, we'll have to see what the prices are, because we actually can't get them early. Yay, that doesn't bring great confidence, but let's go with it. Hayate, if you like a Haragumo mixed with a Shimikaze, and you want to put the two together, you make a hybrid, and that's the Hayate. It's good. It's good. Not great, but good. So, these are my thoughts. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Of course, with this Shipyard Rotation, was it a good one? Was it a bad one? Do you have most of these ships kind of like I do? Or, or are you just not generally interested? I'm kind of just interested in the Yukon, really. That's kind of it. Maybe the Black Iowa, depending on the price. Next up, something that I've been wanting for probably about a year now. The premium shop is getting refreshed. So let's talk about the new one. We got the Eagle, the Duca de Acosta, the Ark Royale, the Ashitaka, the Grozia, the Bliskavica, the Le Terribly, the Yukikaze, the Fenyang, the Irian, the Kutuzov, the Cheshire, the Benim, the Alaska, the Georgia Thunderer, Buffalo, and the Somers. Now, of course, I have the exact same thing that I did with the Shipyard Rotation. Let's talk about them. Eagle. It's playable. It's just okay. It doesn't do anything special. You could buy it and get the copper out of it if you want. It's just not really. Duca de Acosta, it's actually a really solid, good ship at tier 6. Very, very well balanced in my opinion. Definitely do like it. Doesn't have that punchy power that the Amalfi or the Brindisi or the Venezia have, but it's still pretty good for tier 6. I enjoy it personally. The Ark Royale, generally from what I know, it's playable just because it's in such a competitive tier. Tier 7 carriers are notoriously strong, and the Ark Royale rarely gets seen outside of actually really nowhere outside of the port. So yeah, I really wouldn't necessarily suggest it. Ashitaka Amagi at tier 7. Very strong ship, high alpha, great battleship, but a little kind of, that kind of tiered down battleship feel where it's just a little slow, kind of bulky, doesn't really play incredibly well, but for its tier, it does a good job. I would suggest if you are interested in it, it's a good enough ship. Grozia, playable. It's a Zara class, basically. It just doesn't do what it needs to do. Once again, kind of run into that problem of it's not punchy enough compared to the Amalfi, Brindisi, Black Amalfi also, and Venezia. They just don't have that full shtick, at that tier. So it's just not good. Tier 7, there's also a good amount of really, really good cruisers. So yeah, I'd go for other ones. Bliskavica, great. This is an amazing ship, especially if you're looking to try to get those floods done and even fires at times. It really is a well-rounded ship. I'd highly suggest it if you want to get those flood missions done quickly. Le Terribly, it's Le Terrible. It's a skip. Do not touch this ship with the 10-foot stick. Even though it's getting a buff, it doesn't save it. That doesn't fix the problems with the ship. I think the tier 8's arguably better, like the Tech Tree Line one, so just go for that one. Yukikaze and Fenyang, these just aren't boats for me, so a little personal bias here, but they're playable, they're okay. The Fenyang can kind of be fun because of how accurate the guns are. Yukikaze, it's just more up to the eye of the beholder, they could be good in certain hands, just not for me. I just wouldn't suggest them overall. Irian, this is a good ship. I would say it's a good ship, but I just know I just can't play it because of those deep water torpedoes. It's just a personal problem for me. I sold mine. That's how much I hated it. So just to understand, I don't like it. If you don't like deep water torpedoes, this ship is not changing your mind. It's not having any good niche, so it would be more playable. But overall, if you do like that style of cruiser and you happen to deal with deep water torps well, it's a good ship. You'll do pretty well in most games. But let's talk about its better option, the Mikhail Kutuzov. This ship is basically a Smolensk at tier 8 if it was balanced. And that's pretty much it. It's just a Chappie class with a smoke in comparison to where the Chappie has radar, and the Octava has nothing, kind of. But the Mikhail Kutuzov, an amazingly solid ship. Stay at range, set fires all game, and then when you need to, blap some AP into some destroyers at pretty decent range, and or even just the bow stern superstructure of most battleships. And yeah, you'll have a good amount of damage in this ship. It's great paper armor though. Cheshire, I say niche. It does actually have pretty good AA for the tier. It can be used sometimes in team comps and tournaments, but overall, I can't suggest it, but there's certain people that have kind of a cult following with it. I think also I have a bad history with it when it came out. It just was a horrible event and kind of, pretty much ruined the taste of the Cheshire for me. So I really do not enjoy that ship, but I do understand it is a niche. It's not great. But yeah, let's get on to a better niche ship, the Benham. This is basically a tier 4 Somers brought up to tier 9 with mines as torpedoes, basically. These things are slow, but it's a troll ship. You're about sending, 16 torpedoes off every 40 seconds. This thing is ridiculously fun to play, but there's arguably a better ship now in the premium shop than it. But if you want a version of that ship eventually in tier 9, the Benham's there. So Alaska, this is playable to skip. Depends on your playstyle, depends on if they maybe will buff this in the future, but overall the Alaska is just barely playable, mostly skip for me. It's just armor catches all the shells, and it doesn't really do its niche very well. So I think that the Alaska and arguably the Puerto Rico, though the Puerto Rico I'd say is more on the good or like low good scale, they both still need a little bit of love there. Georgia, solid ship in comparison like the Black Iowa and also Missouri. It is the lowest in the rank just because of that only 6 guns. It does have really strong citadels, but you actually have to hit with those citadels, and that's kind of another problem of the ship. I think it just needs a little bit of love, but I still think it is a good solid ship at tier 9 overall, just because it does have punchy guns, and if you know how to shoot, this thing can be at least an enjoyable time for the money. Thunderer, actually going to be getting a buff. This ship is turning into a great pick now. It's a very fun ship, especially if IFHE plus, if not on a regular commander APCS. This thing can definitely do a good amount of damage, and I thoroughly would suggest it. So that's a great pickup if the price is right. But Buffalo, once again, another great pick. I would definitely put it on the low end of great just because it really needs that sonar that I've been suggesting, and I'm just hoping that I just slowly get into wargaming side. Just add 1 sonar, and the Buffalo would be perfect. But the Buffalo is a just great 203 spamming HE AP, just doesn't matter. Decent AA boat, strong with the rapid reload. It's a fun ship. Definitely would suggest it if you are looking to pick up something like that. Somers, though, this is the better Benham in my opinion. It's just a more usable version of it with better guns, arguably just, better skills. You do have the smoke, you now have torpedo reload, so you can fire off your torps, and let's say something catches you out by accident, hit that torp reload and get those mines off, because they are, once again, very slow. But I do find just the Somers is more applicable in the meta. It's just a better overall ship compared to the Benham, but those center line torpedoes really help out. Putting 16 mines out going after an entire enemy turtle is absolutely hilarious after you wait like 30 seconds for them to hit. But it is still a fun ship. Definitely, I put it as niche, but it's in the overall meta between that great and good category depending on your play style. Now on to the best part of most updates, or the most contentious parts of most updates, the buffs and the nerfs. So let's start with the Japanese line. We got the Tone getting a buff. Really, I think needed, but not enough. It'll at least be into playable now. In my opinion, it'll at least be playable. It will be an awkward playable. I wish it was more of a niche ship, but I don't think it even warrants that yet, just because of I don't think these are actually going to do as much as Wargaming wants them to, but maybe we'll get another round next update. So Tone, main battery reload from 11 seconds to 9.5 seconds. Bomber capacity 7 to 9. Great, we got 2 more little paper airplanes we can send off. Torpedo bomber damage 1,000 to 1,150. That's good. They send out a lot of torpedoes, so that definitely does help if any of the bombers actually get to the actual ship that you're trying to bomb. And then of course the flood chance from 9 to 12. That will help, of course, with it being there's a lot of torpedoes. So I'm glad they finally touched it because it's been needing it, but I don't know if it has enough. Azuma, we got the HE fire chance increasing from 10 to 12, the main battery range increasing from 11.88 to 12.12. Overall, good. Like, this will help it. The Azuma is definitely a good HE fire starter, but the APs kind of slept on a lot of the community within that, because you have to remember these are battle cruisers, so their AP is kind of punchy. But I think that the Azuma kind of lacks out because it doesn't have what the Yoshino has. Let's talk about that, because that's getting a buff. Amir and I will be very happy. Maybe we'll have to challenge each other to a world record, even though I think he still holds it. So we'll get to that HE fire chance from 10 to 12 just the same way, but a main battery dispersion increase from 1 to 2, which actually that is a benefit to it. It's going to have a smaller circle overall, and then the turning angle goes from 5.2 seconds to 5.5 seconds per degree per second, I should say. Overall, great. I think this is perfect. Yoshino is actually, in my opinion, probably still in a very good position. I wouldn't say meta, but good. I'm okay with that. It's a fun ship. I enjoy its ambusher playstyle, but of course, it had some issues here and there, but most of it's by other ships that are more overpowered than it, kind of shutting it out and kind of preventing it from getting that niche capability that it really does have, which I enjoy. So let's talk about Harugumo getting the main battery range increase, which in my opinion, awesome. 8.7 kilometers to 9.18 kilometers. A little shooting further. I'll take it. Harugumo's a fun ship, but definitely not a meta ship, not a huge, amazing pick for that tier, but fun. Now we go over to France. Talk about the changes there. Lay Terrible getting a Sonar 1 skill added. Great. Thank you, Wargaming. These ships are long-range HE and AP throwers. They're not meant to get into anyone's faces, so Sonar 1 does nothing. Great start. Let's talk about the Mogador and Colbert. They're getting more engine accelerators, +1 on each of them. Personally, great. I love this. I've been preaching it since they literally were released. They needed just one more. I would have preferred a crap ton more, but you know, I'll take what I can get. One more is great for both of them. They are fun niche ships, and that's really their point. So that's it. That's done. Now onto one of my most favorite ships, unfortunately the legendary equipment mod for the Henry the Fourth, as I should say. 8% to 10% minus reload. Yeah, still not worth it. Still not worth it, in my opinion. It's an ambusher ship, and you want as much concealment as possible. Yeah, so legendary mod stays bad. On to the next one. Now over to the USSR, we've got the Nutra Shimmy getting changed. Main battery HE damage going from 370 to 380. Main battery AP damage going from 400 to 420. Nice. Torpedo damage increasing from 2800 to 3200. Torpedo flooding chance going from 12% to 15%. Overall, this is just going to make it a better support DD. It's going to make it able to really help out other DDs or other ships that it's working with. But still, by itself, the Nutrishimi will still be kind of at a loss whenever it tries to take something on one-on-one, unless it can get the better advantage using its skills. But it's better now. It's better. It's definitely not just playable, kind of going more towards that niche area. So that's good. I'm up for that. Riga, we got the main battery AP shell damage going up from 860 to 900. Now these are meant to be damage dealing ships, so that's great. More AP damage, the better. Main battery HE setting fire chance at 7 to 8% now. Why? What does this do? Are people shooting HE out of the Riga and Pietro? Because the Pietro's getting the same one. Let's talk about the Pietro. We got an AP shell damage increase from 950 to 980. Cool, awesome. Doesn't fix the fundamental problem. That's still third rate in its situation. There are so many better ships at tier 10 and tier 9 that just do everything these ships do, but better. What? Whatever. You know what? I'm going to take these next two that we're going to talk about, because these two at least are pretty solid. The Alexander Nevsky getting a main battery range increase from 12.3 kilometers to 12.6 kilometers. Now we're talking Moscow range with these 180s. I'll take it. Perfect. Maybe gives you a little bit more time to wiggle room. The Nevsky really does need an AA buff and a mobility buff, but I'll take it. You know, who knows, maybe this might fix the problems because you get a little bit more range in order to dodge. On to, hey, awesome, Grosavoy is getting updated. Where's the Kabaros getting updated? Come on, Wargaming. But main battery HE from 370 to 380. Main battery AP from 400 to 420. Nice. Torpedo damage 2800 to 3200. Torpedo range from 7.8 kilometers to 9 kilometers. And then, of course, the torpedo flooding chance increasing from 12 to 15. Basically getting everything that the neutral shimmy had. Is this going to fix the Grosavoy's position? I think this is just going to help it be a little bit better. And maybe it might be comparable now to the Udaloy, or at least be able to keep up. It's kind of been the problem with the Grosavoy. It's just outclassed by its tier 9 counterpart in almost everything. So the torpedo range increase, unless they tighten the spread, cool, at 9 kilometers you'll hit half the map then, because these things have so much spread. But I'll take it. The Grosavoy might actually be fairly usable now, and I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that. I think it's probably going to be playable because it is really just that standard DD. There's nothing truly special about it, unlike the Udaloy, which has something kind of special going for it, and it's strong. So yeah, we'll see. I think we're going to need a little testing on the Grosavoy. So, but on the next one. Now over to the Italians. Now, these are fairly all brand new ships, and they're all getting some changes in some way. We got the Iolo Emilio with an HP increase from 17,400 to 18,800. That's great. Okay, cool, a little bit more health. Torpedo damage, which of course was already ridiculously high, is getting an increase from 4,600 to 5,100. Torpedo speed is being increased by 2 knots all the way up to 70.85 knots. That's great and all. Doesn't fix the ship. It should have gotten like fuel smoke 2 or 3 or something along that lines, and then kept the old damages. It is still the Iolo Emilio, but don't expect to last past the first Iolo, so which is kind of sad. I kind of enjoyed this ship, and unfortunately, I kind of misled the community a little bit. I just had some really good games, but once you start playing it during prime time, it's not a good ship. So definitely would skip it at all possible. Lepanto, very strong tier 9, but I didn't really think it needed that many changes, and I think they've corrected it quite well. So the main battery reload time went up by 1 second. Okay, cool. That's fine. I really do feel like the Lepanto is in a really good place. And then the SAP penetration, minus 10%, and the AP penetration at max range, minus 4%. I think this is great. I think this will try to push people more to actually change what they're shooting, SAP versus AP. If you are still a good shot with SAP, I think SAP is still very strong on these ships, and this minus 10 on penetration isn't really going to change your playstyle that much, especially if you have Luigi on there. So overall, I think Lepanto's nerf, it's good. It's a minor nerf if you know how to shoot really well. So Napoli Citadel protection 10 to 17.5%. Awesome. Napoli's already a fun battle cruiser, so a little minor buff, kind of a little bit more protection there. I'll take it. I'm okay with that. And I think that the Napoli's in a good state anyway, so a little small minor fixes like that is great. And there should be more on other ships. Come on, Wargaming. I've made videos about this. Onto the Christopher Colombo, or the CC, or the Colombo, whichever way you want to call it. Main battery reload is increased from 25 seconds to 27 seconds. SAP penetration is decreased by 10%. AP penetration at max ranges is decreased by 4%. And dispersion is increased by 7%. I think this is a great nerf to the ship. It was strong. It was strong, borderline overpowered, kind of getting close to that Smolensk area type thing. But I think this is going to put it in a good place. I think this is still going to be a meta ship. It's going to turn it more into a shotgun, which of course you have 16 guns. So hope to God that, this is kind of more of a shotgun, because of course prior to this, getting hit by those 16 shells in any ship hurt. They hurt. So I'm fully expecting another round of changes to this ship, but overall, I think it's in a great shape right now, so don't think that it's the end of the world and you'll never play it again because it sucks. I think it's still going to be pretty good. And finally, the British Navy. Let's talk about Thunder is getting an amazing buff here. Main battery reload from 19 seconds to 17.5 seconds, and now this is going into the premium shop. Thunder is in a good place. Thunder is going to be in a great place. totally okay with this. The Audacious and the Malta are getting their torpedoes nerfed again from 1700 damage to 1600 damage, but the Malta is getting a decrease of flooding chance from 16% to 15%, and the average deck armor is being decreased from 90 millimeters to 70 millimeters. Okay, I'll take it, but I don't know if this is the area where they needed the nerfs. I think they needed like a dispersion nerf on their bombs, same thing that like the Midway needs to get a little nerf on there. But hopefully the Malta just won't be so blatantly powerful, but this just doesn't touch the area that I find and many others find are the most problematic. So yeah, I'm happy about these updates, but they're either not enough or they're right on the spot, especially with the Thunderer. So really looking forward to trying that ship out post update 5.3 coming out, which of course I'm recording this before. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on this update. I'd love to know in the comments down below. I think overall it's a good update. I think that there's like, where's the third turret fix there, Wargaming? And then there's a few other fixes that people will list out in the comments of where's that fix. So hoping that comes, and also hoping Bella's quality of life update comes soon. Maybe that'll be the next one. I also understand wargaming is a super big business. Sometimes it just takes a while to actually have new ideas filtered down and actually get work done, especially in the code base. So hopefully soon, but not too long. So hoping everyone enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell down below. And if you want to join up anywhere else in the community, of course, Linktree link is down below. Thank you so much for the support of Patreons. If you want to join a Patreon, it's $1 to $5. Of course, link is in the Linktree down below. Thank you all for the support. Looking forward to your comments down below and seeing you Wednesday with update 5.3. Hopefully everything goes well. Yeah, hopefully. We'll find out. Either way, have a good one. Peace.